Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Baligian.
Is up. So glad you could join us. It is a Tuesday night, right, Blake? Tuesday night?
Yes, it's a Tuesday.
I don't know.
They all run together.
It really and truly, and you know what? Especially, I don't know about you this time of year for me. Like, do you remember when you were a kid and in the summertime, you had no idea what day it was? And, September through the second week of June, you were all about the weekends, and it almost like the weekends kind of sucked. It was like during the week that was fun in the summertime. That's kind of like I think it's Tuesday. I don't know. The only way I keep track of days is when Stanley Cup games are being played.
You have
That's
your
it.
priorities straight.
I mean, that's just like I can tell you definitively when those games are being played. That's
Yeah.
really and truly that's the way it goes. So at the end of the day, it's Tuesday.
Yes.
Tigers are losing though already.
Wouldn't know. Can't watch them.
All right.
You want me to go on that rant again?
No, this Skubal stuff is just I am dumbfounded. I don't know if you saw the tweet I put out the other day. I named, I don't know, like 10 different prospects, right? I named like 10 different prospects. And we've been playing this prospect game for so long, right? We really have been. We've been playing this prospect game for so long now. And I named off all these prospects. And I didn't even name the guys that are here because I don't think it's fair to Riley Green. I don't think it's fair to Matt Manning. I don't think it's really fair to Spencer Torkelson to say that they are busts yet. I really don't. And I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with me, but whatever. All right. I think we know, some of them. Like I'll use, for example, Matt Manning. Remember Matt Manning couldn't miss? Matt Manning, this is the next great, stud. I think we can all agree that Matt Manning isn't going to be a stud, right? So you have all these prospects and we know all their names and blah, 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 blah. And to put it mildly, Blake, you don't even have to be the biggest baseball fan in the world, okay? To put it mildly, and I forgot to tilt that down, buddy. Sorry. Is that better? To put it mildly, it hasn't worked. Okay?
Yeah.
Daz, Kristen, all these Lugo, all these names that we know about, it hasn't worked. All right. So out of all these can't miss prospects, name after name after name, probably a couple dozen of them. Okay. You actually have one that made it. Tarek Skubal, who's arguably the best pitcher in the league right now. Yeah. I don't think there's too many people that would argue with that. All right.
Why didn't you or Mike or anybody tell me to bet on him to win the Cy Young before the season started?
Well,
I'm very upset about that.
If you listen to me going back to last fall and even early this year, I think the maturation of Tarek Skubal was lost last fall in the exuberance about the Lions, about Michigan football, and the craziness that hit East Lansing. But I know we talked about it on the radio show. And by the way, speaking of the radio, Blake comes to us from 760 WJR, Mitch Album Show, and Sports Rap. Okay. So I know we talked about it then, and we talked about it before the season started, that we've got a stud. Like I talked about it on this show. We've got a stud. Now, to be this good, though, that's something different right now. I mean, he really is. He's one of the best, if not the best out there. All right. So you got all these prospect names. The prospect graveyard is over there with all their names on the tombstone. And because of the situation that the Tigers find themselves in, it would be in their best interest to trade off some assets. Well, here's the problem. And Mike and I talked about this before the season started. There aren't a lot of assets. Okay.
You have to have assets to trade them off.
Right. Jack Flaherty is an asset. All right. So we're left with a lot of people openly talking about what do we do with Tarek Skubal? Now, did I mention that the prospect graveyard is right there? It's just down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Here lies Lugo. Here lies Parker Meadows. Here lies, all these can't miss prospects that flat out missed. And what do people want to trade Tarek Skubal for? Prospects.
Trade a known for an unknown. Yeah.
What? That's the one thing we can all agree on. The one thing we can all agree on is that the Tigers and their prospect farming didn't work. Okay? And there's still an incomplete. I'm probably being nice to a few of those names. Hi, Casey Mize. I'm probably being nice to a few of those names by not including them on that list. And you want to trade a known, arguably the best pitcher in the American League, arguably the best pitcher in the majors. You want to trade him for prospects. It's mind-numbing to me. It really is. Now, it's easier said than done to say, well, we're going to trade him for a known, because if a team is looking for a guy like Skubal, are they really going to give up a known? A piece of a puzzle of a team. The team that goes and picks up Tarek Skubal saying, we're all in this year. We're all in. We think we have a chance. Forget just making the playoffs. We think we have a chance, and we are adding an ace to our staff to put us over the flipping top. Okay?
Almost a jar.
And they're not going to, at that point in time, they're not going to sit back and say, well, we're going to give up one of our bats. The Tigers don't have any bats. And it's mind-numbing to me. And I'm sorry if I come across as being disrespectful right now, so be it, okay? I had people talking about how we need a bat in the middle of the lineup, and that's why we need to trade him for prospects. You mean like Kristen Stewart? You mean like Jamar? You mean like Riley Green? You mean like Spencer Torkelson? All these names that look, up to this point, some of them we could say flat out didn't work. Others, like I said, we can say, I'm not sure Tork's ever going to be a star. I'm not ready to say he's a complete bust yet. But I think you get so we're going to go get more prospects?
Okay, but can I ask you a question? It's
You
like
can
a
ask
devil's
me anything you want, buddy.
A devil's advocate type question.
You go devil's advocate all day.
Will Tarek Skubal be the center of this rebuild when they are able to get good again? Are they close enough where they're going to be good again in 3 years?
I have my doubts.
Okay.
I have my doubts.
So if they're not going to be good either way, then couldn't you make the argument?
I know where you're going with this.
Then couldn't you make the argument? Then trade them away, get some prospects, because they're not going to be good either way.
Because can I tell you why?
Yeah.
I would rather have a few years of Tarek Skubal and a reason to go down there at least every 4 days than take the chance of getting burned again and getting nothing in return. See Verlander Justin trade. See Martinez JD trade. I mean, we can go up and down that list. I'm sorry, I'm way too jaded by playing that game. I am. And I know it's worked for some, and for some it worked really, really well. And for others, it took years to get it going. It hasn't worked here for whatever reason. And so all these prospects that you planted and the years that you hashtag Detroit roots and all that crap. I'm catching myself today. I'm actually proud of myself today. hashtag Detroit roots and all that stuff. Honestly, as we sit here today, June 11th, 2024, there is one that has panned out. One. Because if I'm going to try to be fair to Spencer Torkelson and Parker Meadows and Riley Green, if I'm going to try to be fair and say, well, I'm not ready to call them busts yet, all right? Can we at least say they haven't arrived yet either?
Well, and to make these to trade oh my god, Skubal. Sorry, my brain just lagged. You have to trust your management to evaluate prospects, correct?
Yep.
Do you trust the Tigers management to evaluate prospects? They haven't proven it yet.
Listen, I've got my questions on Scott Harris. I do. I think Flaherty was a really good move. I think Kenta Maeda was a disaster. And it's a shame that we have Kenta for 2 years and Flaherty for 1. What he flips Flaherty for is going to be very interesting because with as well as Flaherty has been pitching, he might get a pretty darn good haul in return of yay prospects. But I'm certainly more open to that than I was under the Avila regime.
Okay, that's fair.
Listen, Google is your friend. You've heard me say this many times. You don't have to take my word for it, okay? I want you to go, like, you can Google right now if you're watching. Go look up Tigers top prospects 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Look at the names of the do-nothings on there. Seriously. Look at those names. I mean, it seems like Funkhauser in particular, wasn't he on that list for like 10 years? Kyle Funkhauser? And that's the thing, Blake, that's the kind of stuff like if we hadn't just lived through this era of Kristen Stewart and Bo Burrows and Daz Cameron and J-Mark Candelario and Franklin Perez and remember Joe Jimenez. Oh, he brings the heat. Dewal Lugo. Derek Hill, Funkhauser, De La Cruz. I mean, we know these names because we heard them so many times because the slapdicks like told us, oh, wait till you see this guy. Have you seen him yet? I can say slapdick, right? I don't think that's a swear jar.
It's edgy. It's pretty edgy.
All right. So all these names, have you seen these guys yet? Well, no. Have you used Google, who is your friend, by the way, to look up their numbers? It's not like these guys were even lighting it up. You know what I mean? And that's what drives me bat crap crazy.
Good job. Proud of you.
All right. Jason said Shauner's days are marked by what he made in the smoker recently and when he last watered his lawn. That's an old school, Jason. That's Blake, I was that guy at my old house. I would go out with the hose and hand water my lawn.
Really?
My kids.
You have sprinklers now,
yes,
don't you?
My kids thought it was the funniest gosh damn thing on earth. They would sneak out and take pictures and look at my dad. He's an old man with my sandals and white socks on.
Spraying every kid that walked by.
Michael said, do not make the deal for an unknown. If he has to be traded, let it be when he's going to get paid if this team has not gotten better. Darren said a lot of them in regards to the prospects. JT said, why aren't we talking about the real problem? Chris Ilitch doesn't want to spend money on either franchise. I have my questions.
Some money on the Wings.
Well, right? To a point, because I think the difference between the Wings and the difference between the Tigers is a salary cap. You know, I mean, there's a salary cap, so there's a limit on it, and I'm drop dead stunned that we don't see it in Major League Baseball. To be honest with you,
is there a minimum in baseball?
Yes, but I don't remember what it is. I don't remember what it is. I don't know.
Javi gets us over it, so it's fine.
I don't know what to think of Chris. I have my questions like everybody else. Part of me thinks, and if I'm giving him too much credit, you guys can yell at me. Mr. Ilitch, people forget, went through a long period of time where he wasn't exactly spending on this team. He got burned in the mid-90s. I think it was 94. Remember, the Tigers went and signed Mike Moore, and it was a disaster. And Mr. Ilitch didn't want to spend. He just did not want to spend. And then, if you remember, he made that huge overture to Juan Gonzalez, and they were rebuffed. And Juan Gonzalez didn't want to stay here. So it really wasn't until Dave Dombrowski came here and they threw that mad money at Pudge and they went and got Carlos Guillen and they went and got Maglio that Mr. Ilitch started to open up the purse strings. I wonder, and I don't know the answer to this, I wonder if Chris Ilitch is in that same mode. When I think there's a reason to spend, I'll spend. And if you feel I'm making an excuse for him, yell at me. Okay. I don't know. I really don't. So I know about District Detroit. I know about so many other things. I know about the optics of Comerica Park, which, in fairness to them, they fixed that a little bit, at least with the TV screens. I mean, you guys tell me, are the seats fixed in the stadium? Because the last few years, every time I went to the stadium, it seemed like I sat in a broken seat.
Well,
I mean, it was a joke.
Did you see that? I think it was announced this week that they're like tearing out a bunch of seats for like luxury seats.
Yeah, I saw that.
By the way,
and we had
real
season
quick.
tickets for years. You got to remember. I mean, Blake, honestly, I had season tickets from 05 to 17 when Jack went away to school.
Yeah.
And what happened to that stadium in a short amount of time was nothing short of crap.
The minimum is 233 million for last year, 237 for this year.
Yeah.
By the way, you said Google is your friend, and
It is.
can I just do one thing real quick? Their new Google sucks. This like AI thing that they put in there, it never gives me the right answer.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But
wanted to point that out.
This is something to the point that JT made. There's a reason why optics are important, and there's a reason why people feel the way they do. How has Christopher Ilitch shown that the Detroit Tigers are a priority to him? You tell me. Yeah. I'll wait. So I can't blame one person, whether it be JT or anybody else, for thinking that way.
But that is like almost common nowadays in baseball. Like just as a sport, like it feels like there's more owners in baseball that are just raking in a check for owning a team than trying to field a competitive team.
And then waiting for that luxury check from the New York Yankees of the world, the teams that go way, way over the threshold.
It's crazy.
You know, the thing that people don't like to hear, but we always need to remind ourselves is this is a business. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to remind ourselves.
I just don't get it, man. Because
baseball can still print money.
If I was a billionaire, which I'm not, nowhere near, even if I owned a team, all I would want to do is have a sick team. That's all I would want. Like if I'm going to be a billionaire and I'm going to spend money on this team, I would want them to win.
It depends which sports you're talking about too, because I think if you think real long and hard, you can probably figure out which guy I'm talking about. I know an owner. I know an owner to the point where I think he would call me a friend and I call him a friend. And in his sport, pre-salary cap, boy, I wonder who I'm talking about. He told me before they instituted the salary cap in that particular sport, I wonder what. He said to me, I don't mind losing money. I just don't want to bleed money anymore. Because there are certain, like if you're losing money as an NFL owner, that's your fault. If you're losing money as an MLB owner, that's also your fault. I would also probably be quick to say the same thing about the NBA, even for a decrepit franchise. But back in the days before the cap in the NHL, there were a lot of teams losing money. And it was funny because I remember having this rant on the radio one time. And
Not you. No way.
yeah, I used to rant a lot more back then. And I
You're
remember,
angrier.
I remember people saying, well, that's what you get for moving to this market or that market or this market or that market. And I was like, oh, the Wings are a pretty healthy team, aren't they? Yeah, it's a great hockey town. Yeah, I'll go, hey, hockey town. Yeah, did you know Mr. Illich lost money last year? Huh? Yes. Mr. Illich lost money last year. Like, that's real. That's true. They had to get 15 years later, more than that now. I don't think there's a soul out there that would argue that they had to get things in line in the National Hockey League. It was, and I know we talked about the profit sharing before. The profit sharing was a gosh damn joke. That was another way that I'd trick people. I'd go, what would you think if I told you the profit sharing was 58% for one side and 42% for the other side? Oh, that's horse crap. These billionaire owners. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not the billionaire owners that are getting 58%. It's the Players Association that were getting 58%. Oh, so you had to really get that in line, because even with the big television deal in Canada, you're just not making the money that other sports are. You aren't, and there are a hell of a lot more costs as well. So it's interesting. Jason said, how does Oakland only have a roster of like $50 million a year? Do they pay the possums in the announcer's box the deference? Yeah, it's incredible. It really is. And, you watch, that franchise is going to go to Vegas and make a crap load of money. You watch. I'm serious. Blake, I want to talk about what you were angry about the other day. You were angry about something.
What was I angry about this time?
College football related. Can we have that
Oh,
conversation?
yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah,
I wasn't
think
angry.
yeah, you were
That's a little much.
You were a little angry.
I was peeved.
I love the word peeved. That's salty. What did you say then? That's borderline, or what was it you said?
So it was borderline.
All right. Hey, can I tell you all about catering? I'd really love to tell you about all about catering. I have used this company. They do a fantastic job. They are a full service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for, from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. I will vouch personally for Rick and his staff. They are outstanding. They've done events for us. They'll take care of you the same way they took care of me. So don't sweat your next big event. Go to allaboutcateringllc.com today. See their menus and all of their 5-star reviews. Give them a call, 586-731-1398, to get your event started. Really appreciate them being a part of what we do. Appreciate you being a part of what we do. He is Blake. I'm Sean. And Blake, not that anybody is counting, okay? I always like to throw that. Not that anybody is counting, but we're only 74 days away from week 0.
Yay!
I'm serious. It's one of my favorite days of the year. And like, my family's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
It's like Christmas Eve.
It is made extra special for me because, like, one of my Valhalla places is my local cider mill. I have a problem. Parmiter's cider mill, I legitimately have a problem. And they open that same day. It's such a wonderful, wonderful day. But you sent me a text, and I kind of talked you off the ledge about what's happening in college football with the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, so there's 2 bowl games now because of the revamped college football playoff schedule, and they had to move around a bunch of bowls because of that. So now there's 2 bowl games on the same day as Army Navy, which, like, it's fine. I'm not mad about it. But Army Navy, I think, for us as college football fans, as college football elite, I like to throw myself in there.
I think you can.
That game holds a special place. I mean, as Americans, it should hold a special place for everyone, but especially for college football elite, it holds a special place. And that game that's the game of the day, and then the Heisman Trophy ceremony is that evening. That's it. And it's just going to be a little different now that game is still happening and there's nothing going up against it. But then later in the day, there will be some, mediocre bowl games that I'm going to have to watch now.
It was and I get what you're saying. There was something special, and I mean, I think if you call yourself a college football fan, the pomp, the pageantry, the tradition of Army Navy, I mean, it's near the top. It has to be. It's usually a less than college football game because they aren't the powerhouses that they were long before even I was born. But it's still Army Navy, right? Blake,
Yes.
I'm still going to enjoy it. I still think it's going to be the event of the day, but if more often than not, and this is what I told you in the text, more college football for me, and I'm not going to complain. I'm just not going to complain.
I wonder what they're going to do with the Heisman ceremony, though. I saw.
Jason,
By the way, I bet
you are such a wiseacre, dude.
I bet the under in Army Navy every single year.
I remember that. You told me that. Yeah.
It hits
You told me that.
I think it's like 30. There was the one that went to overtime, not last year, the year before. That was the first time in like 30 service academy games that the under didn't hit.
Yeah.
It's just I'm printing money on that game,
Well, did you bet on game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals after you got a pearl of wisdom last night? Did you bet on that?
Did not. I did bet on game 1. Lost. And then
what was your bet?
I took Edmonton plus 1.5.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. And that, but I'm 2-0 in the NBA Finals. I took
telling
Boston
you,
both games.
I want to get back to college football in just a second, but I'm telling you right now, Edmonton might get swept.
Yeah, that series is over.
Yeah, you better prepare yourself for it. They might.
I have I've been thinking about this all day, though.
All right, but I want to get back to college football.
Yeah, let's go back to college football, but I do have a hockey question for you.
Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I wonder what they're going to do with the Heisman Trophy ceremony that evening then, with games going on and everything. The schedule's so jam-packed now.
I think I told you I've been a voter since 2009 and I've never been. I've got to go one year. I got it because I'm allowed to go.
Do you take a guest?
The one year that I was supposed to go was 2011. And as a Wayne State guy, you probably know what happened in 2011. I mean, we had hotel right across the street. I was going to take the kids skating at Rockefeller Plaza. Hey, this is great. Little family getaway for 2 days. Dad's going, to this dinner, et cetera, et cetera. And then Wayne State just kept winning. And I think that was the week of when we beat Winston-Salem to get into the championship game. So I was down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which was, insane. So I'm not complaining about it, but I don't think it'll change, Blake. I don't think.
I just don't know if they'll put it up against a game. Because if there's a bowl game on at the same time.
I wonder, just thinking out loud, I wonder if they make it like they have the one game maybe at 5:00 and the other one at 9:00.
Let me look it up.
Just thinking out loud. I'm sure they don't have the times yet, right?
No, there's literally times for every bowl game already, except
crap.
Except for one. That was close.
Oh.
Let me look it up though. And you keep talking while I'll look.
No, you're not catching me today, dude. I'm telling you right now, you're just not going to catch me. Can I talk about Wealth Advantage Group while you're looking that up? Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, fantastic. If you are ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by the Handsome brothers right there with over 20 years of industry experience. That's Mike and Jeff Husak. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, you're getting ready to sell your company, maybe you're already in retirement. Oh, lucky you. They can help guide you through every step of your financial journey. They work with clients throughout all stages of life, and they have clients in over 20 different states. Now, the investment world is a complex one. If you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, I think it's time to work with a couple of experts. Reach out to my friends the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574. Let them take care of you the same way they take care of my family. You can also check out their website at www.thewealthadv.com, and you will be glad that you did. They've done wonderful, wonderful job for. All right, did it have the times up there?
Yeah. So the Celebration Bowl, that's at noon. Army Navy will still kick at 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Camellia Bowl is a 9:00 kick. So you were spot on.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they'll do the Heisman at like 7.
Yeah.
It'll be over by 9. And then
Gosh, that was another holy night. That, like, for me, it was like, okay, I'll turn Hockey Night in Canada back on in a second. I got to watch the Heisman Trophy presentation. That was awesome. Jason said if Barkov is out for a bit, Edmonton has a chance for Blake. It's the Stanley Cup, though. So, yeah, that could be huge, no doubt. I don't know what nobody does. I don't think we are. But to your point, and I see Coach Hunter in the chat as well, better look out in Game 3. I'm not saying it's going to go back to the 1980s and they're going to be full out brawls or anything like that. But do not be surprised if at some point in time and place being key, you don't see one of Edmonton's big guns maybe get caught with their head down. Do not be surprised, especially the way that Florida handled it last night. I don't know if you saw some of the conversation. Somebody asked Tkachuk about it, and he goes, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about that. And Paul Maurice basically did the same thing. If that doesn't tell you what is coming, they're basically telling everybody, okay, we'll take care of this ourselves. We'll police it ourselves. Now, again, this isn't like, the glory days of the Bruise Brothers and everybody's going to be dropping their gloves or anything like that. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think anybody's going to be a maniac about it, but don't be surprised. Let's say it's a game like Game 2 was late in the game. Don't be surprised if a liberty isn't taken. Yeah. Do not be surprised at all. Do not be surprised at all.
How much does my question that I've been preparing all day for you? How much does second change though affect what Edmonton wants to do?
I don't think in one man's opinion, I don't think it's as important for Edmonton. What I'm seeing is the same thing that I talked about before Game 1, and you guys can agree or disagree. I'm seeing Florida kind of do the same thing to Edmonton that Vegas did to them last year. They're just getting kind of worn down, especially as the game progresses. It's not like they're dominant. They're getting worn down, and Florida just keeps rolling out those lines. And in particular, the blue line. I mean, look, Evan Bouchard's had a phenomenal playoff. They had to play him too much last night. And his turnover on the second goal shows you all you need to know about that. I mean, really, the guy looked gassed, and he short-armed it, and it was a beautiful pass, and poor Skinner didn't have a chance on that. But, when you have some of the limitations that they already have on their blue line, and then you add in, a couple guys missing a few shifts last night, and Bouchard had to play so many darn minutes, it's going to show. And I think what you're seeing is Florida just keeps grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, kind of like Vegas did to them last year. They didn't have a chance last year. I mean, you got a couple games into that series, and you're like, okay, I know how this is going to end. The question is just how quickly it ends.
I would just argue, I think Edmonton outplayed Florida in Game 1.
Oh, they did. They did.
So, that doesn't give me complete loss of hope for Edmonton. But I mean, they got dominated last night.
There's two ways to look at it, because I look at it the other side. That was a shot. Florida didn't have their A game. I would say it was a C- game, and you lost 3-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, as Coach Hunter said, plus he took a couple of dumb penalties. Tired. Oh, he's gassed. You're playing that many minutes. I was actually, Hunter and I were texting each other. I think at the end of second period, wasn't it like 21 minutes? He'd already played 21 minutes. You can't do that. You can, I mean, honestly, you cannot do that. These poor guys were gassed, So, yeah, we'll wait and see. Blake, see, this is another reason why Blake and I get along. One of my bits on radio forever, I love when I hear people that call themselves college football fans say there are too many bowl games. I don't know why. I think that's the funniest thing on earth, man. I just do. I, what? You mean I get to watch more college football?
Or the
Okay.
people that don't enjoy week 0.
I'll never figure that out as long as I flip and live on my, come on.
But you'll be excited for preseason Lions, but you're not excited for actual football that counts towards a record.
I
Don't
will
get me started.
I will never ever, and this is why I yelled at you last year. Okay. The whole exhibition football thing, I just don't get it. I don't I get that they have to play, okay? But the people that put anything into that, and you people that gamble on those games, are you new to this? Like,
Who would
I'm
do
serious.
that?
Like, are you new to this? Do you know how many times we've had that conversation, good and bad? I remember, I'm not going to throw anybody into the bus. I talked to a prominent member of the Detroit sports media. That's all I'm going to say, because I really like this guy. He's a nice human being, and I don't want to throw him under the bus. I talked to a prominent member of the Detroit sports media a couple years ago when the Lions blew one of the exhibition games, and he did the SOL stuff. And I went, come on. It's exhibition football. Like, seriously? The 24 guys that have been out there in the past quarter, maybe 2 of them end up on the team. Maybe 2 of them end up on the team. That it has nothing to do with what may or may not occur during the regular season. I for the life of me, Blake, how people put anything into those exhibition
Do you
games,
remember
I will
people
never know.
losing their mind last year over Teddy Bridgewater? He rolls out there number 50 and didn't play well, and people were losing their minds.
I don't get it. I every year this happens. Every year. It is one of the most amazing, dumbfounding things. And of course, the mother of all overreactions in the preseason were the preseason undefeated champs of 2008. What do you got to say now? We went 4-0 in the preseason, and I'm going, are you a new football fan? And here 16 years later, we still have buffoons doing that crap. I don't get it.
People are dumb. People are dumb. They need something to talk about.
Yeah.
Because they can't talk college football.
Now, Blake, let me be crystal clear. I don't mind when the Hall of Fame game's on. We were on vacation in the West Side last year, right? We were in New Buffalo, and Thursday night, we're at the beach all day, and Thursday night I say to my kid, "You want to go to the bar around the corner? Let's go watch the Hall of Fame game." I'm just glad football's back. Okay, I'm going to watch it if it's on. If I have my druthers, right?
If there's football on the television, it'll be on the television.
Bam.
But that doesn't mean I'm putting any thought into it whatsoever.
And if it's week 0, yes, I would watch Northwest Toilet State take on Butt Crack U every single time over, we've got our main event tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs are taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, game 2 of the exhibition season. Who the bleep cares? Are you serious? And especially now, Blake, because before, even when you were a youngster, okay, you might see the first offense once. We don't see these guys in the exhibition season anymore, man. They don't go out there. They don't even go out there for a series anymore. Who the hell cares?
You know what's crazy to me? I think Schefter tweeted it out because I have alerts on for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because they nationally broadcast so many preseason games. I'm pretty sure Amazon Prime has one. Like, who is tuning in to Amazon Prime with which people already bitch about football games on Amazon Prime? Who is tuning into an Amazon Prime preseason football game? Find me that person. I want to have a serious sit down with them, and I want to evaluate their life and all of their decisions.
So Eric said, I hardly go to the Lions exhibition games. What's the point? Okay, so
It's for the kids.
when I was younger, my buddies and I used to go and get drunk. I'm not gonna lie, and yell at guys when we were like 2021. But I'm telling you, and you may have heard me say this before, if you want to introduce your young children to an NFL game experience, take them to an exhibition game. It's the best.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they're going to a real Lions game. There's, maybe 10,000 fans there. At least they semi know what to expect. Like that was what I did with my kids annual basis every year. And part of it was parental guilt because dad was always busy every Sunday during the season, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Although I had just on a personal level, I would always, there would be one Sunday a year where I said, I'm not doing the post game show. Like I'll do the TV show. And as soon as the TV show is over, I'm dad the rest of the day. And so I would do that once a year. They would allow me to do that. But oh my gosh, like seriously, for you parents and you're looking for a way, because Blake, you and I have talked about this. I'm sorry. I don't want anything to do with game days anymore. I just don't. I don't want anything to do with game days anymore. So if I had my druthers, if I have to go to a game, I'd rather go to you and I should actually go to an exhibition game. We might actually enjoy it because there aren't a gazillion people there, you know?
I went to one last year. I'm good for a while.
Oh yeah, that I remember you did. I remember that. You had to blow out of work early one night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Eric said you've seen my dad a few times stop in the beer company. I remember that, Eric. Absolutely. Did it at the beer company and then at Shelley's and then eventually just on the field for the Fox show. So yeah, 74 days away, Blake, and I'm with you. I don't care what the schedule is that day. And it isn't a very nice schedule. It just isn't.
No,
But
there's only 3 games this year.
you know what? It's 3 more
There's
games.
real football games, though.
Yes, and quite frankly, it's 3 more games than I normally would. I mean, really, that's what I didn't do yet, and you know how much I love this. I think one of the most underrated things is the whole Labor Day weekend thing, and I'm so glad that Michigan State moved their game to Friday, by the way. That just makes me very, very happy. But the Labor Day schedule, and I don't understand, especially when the NFL isn't playing that Sunday, and this year it is September 1st. Blake, I remember talking to you about this last year. I have no idea why college football doesn't say we are going to own Sunday, September 1st. We are going to have a game on at noon. We are going to have a game on at 3:30. We are going to have a game on at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I don't get it, but we get USC and LSU this year, and then BC and Florida State is the Labor Day game. Why they don't do that, Blake? Mind blowing. People are dying for football around that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be a difficult proposition to talk a couple different venues into saying, yeah, can you move your home game to Sunday afternoon? We'll put you on national television. Are you kidding me? I don't get why they don't do that for the
By
life
the way,
of me.
those games on August 24th, there's betting lines.
Oh, is there really? Do you want to give an early betting line?
Florida State is favored by 13.5 over Georgia Tech, and SMU is 23.5 point favorites over Nevada.
All right. Yeah, so we got
I love
Delaware
that.
State, Hawaii. That's a mainstay. You're going to get Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Montana State, New Mexico, and SMU, Nevada. Okay. I know what I'm going to be doing from noon until 11 o'clock at night. I get to watch college football again. You kidding me?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let me check, by the way. What's the latest score of the Tigers took the lead. They were down 3-0. The Tigers took the lead. How about that? Good job. Fantastic job. Top of the 8th, Tigers up 4-3. Hey, so Blake, a couple things before we get out of here. First, let me tell you about our friends from Legacy Partners. I had lunch with these guys, by the way, at the M1 Concourse. If you haven't been to the M1 Concourse, that place is so cool out in Pontiac, but it was great to see Joe and Alex and Dave out there. And did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? These guys save you money. They took care of me. Seriously. Alex said, let me take a look at your stuff. He said, you can save here, 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 and here. They can do the same for you because our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made. They did for us, asking the right questions to get you the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. And yeah, help save some money. Boy, don't we all need a little bit of that right now. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policy in the last year, you're probably paying too much, just like me and my family were. Or you could be underinsured. Enter Legacy Partners. What are you waiting for? Get your quote. Give them a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today, 586-209-4106, or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Good times had by all. Tony said, who's your tiger? It's Skubal, right? It's got to be Skubal. Could you like anybody else? Really?
Mine's Javi.
Don't say that.
I just said it to piss you off, and it worked.
Jason said, there it is. Blake says he put zero thought in week 0, but already knows the spreads.
That was a misquote. I said I put zero thought into preseason football. I put all the thought into week 0 football. Yeah. All of the thought.
Blake, you glad you have AC? It's going to be hot the next few days. That's what I heard. It's supposed to like skyrocket, isn't it? After, let's face it, the last 2 mornings were college football mornings, right? I mean, I woke up and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to a game. I'm blowing up to state to see my daughter and watch the Spartans. Are you kidding me?
Matt, you never have to worry about us not talking college football. We will talk college football
Matt,
until our faces
that.
turn blue.
Yeah, Blake, 83, 86. Then it looks like a fine weekend, and then low 90s early next week.
Summer sucks.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Tony said apologies, wrote that referring to the old advertisement because the Tigers took the lead. No, I get it. But just they're so like, right? It's kind of, I'm afraid apathy setting in for a lot of people. I could be wrong. By the way, Matt and I were talking about this. Blake, do you have a problem? I've heard people say Friday night is for high school football. I've heard a lot of people say that. Huh? Dude, I don't mind it. Do you mind it on Friday night?
I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I do think that like high school football should have its place and like have its chance to shine. And if there's, I mean, I get what like MSU does with their first week game. I think it's a cool tradition, but like later in the season, yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
See, to your point, I think if you did it over and over and over, I'd have an issue with it.
Well, they have 3 Friday games this year.
See, a now and again thing doesn't bother me at all. Just doesn't bother me at all, man.
I mean, really, I'm gonna watch it. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, of course.
I get out of work too late, so I can't. It's not like I can go to high school games easily. So
I love going to prep games, and I'm actually going to call some this year as well for state champs, which is I love it. You know, for me, it's if I'm not working, you know what, is Northville home? You know, where I live, where my kids went to school, I'll go to the Northville game. If Northville isn't home, I head back to the alma mater. Shout out to Tony Sierra and Livonia Stevenson. Cool. Sometimes, hey, I'm going to go down the road and see what CC's doing. Like, seriously, I love that. But with that being said, what's pretty cool is, you know, I love how the Spartans have that first game at home. I think that's always been so stinking cool, you know, and some of them have been pretty good. I mean, like when Boise came in 2012, that's when Boise was Boise. I mean, that's pretty stinking cool. If they do it now and again, I don't mind it. I don't want it every Friday because I do think that cheapens it. And I think that's kind of a slap in the face to high school football. But to the people out there that, oh, we can't do it at all. I think it's fine.
I mean, there's a Friday night Big Ten game every single week this year.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think that
Matt
don't
said,
take away from that.
Matt said summer is awful. Yes, people complaining about the college football playoff schedule giving us too much football is insane. Matt, I think you and I have had this conversation before. Blake, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you and I have. When I was a kid, I worshiped the summer. I don't want to say it was my favorite season, but I worship this. I've always been a fall kid. Always, 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 for a myriad of reasons, the whole Monday night football, when I was a kid and, hockey starting up and everything. But I mean, the summer, you couldn't wait for the summer, and summer vacations seemed to last forever, right? I don't know when it happened, but at some point in time, I just want the summer to be over. Like the summer hasn't even officially started, and I want it to be over. Can we fast forward to August 24th? Like, I'm serious. Just been
No argument from me.
2 months. Alakazoo. It's now August 24th for you. I don't want it anymore. I'm done with the summer.
I like it when the only time I like the summer is when I get to go out on my friend's boat out on Lake St. Clair and drink like a fish and not have to think about anything. And that's like 4 Saturdays a summer. So
see, Tony said no takes away time for golf. Do you know when I love to golf? I love to golf in the fall. I'm serious. And you've probably heard me when we were on the golf show together, Blake, that like early before I have to go do a game. And when I say early, you know what I mean by early. Going out like on a cool, crisp Saturday morning, like before game day starts or before I have to go to a broadcast on a college football Saturday is awesome. I don't want to go outside when it's 90 degrees. Really, I don't. I'm going to stay in my air conditioning. The only time I'm going to go outside is to check on the meat on my smoker. That's it. I don't like it. Jason, congratulations. Jason said my eldest daughter is going to be a sideline cheerleader for high school this year. So, no, I'll have to go to more prep games. That's awesome. Congratulations. Speaking of golf show, make sure you like our Facebook page, right, Blake? We just started it up. Bad Yardage. Can you do us a favor and like the Facebook page? Because Facebook just came up with this wacky new rule. Blake told me that if you have to have like 100 viewers or something
followers.
Whatever it's called, whatever your terms are called. 100 followers to have like your video shown on there. And since this is a new show, we don't have 100 yet. So if you guys could go to Bad Yardage and like it right now or follow it. Is it like it or follow it?
It's like it on Facebook.
Okay, that'd be cool.
And while you're at it, while you're surfing the web, go check out at Unsyndicated Pod on YouTube and subscribe to that page because everything is on there. Not just the golf show, not just the wonderful hockey show that I think it's the best pregame show going right now for the Stanley Cup Finals. But I'm biased. I won't lie.
I know a guy who
that's
got
on there
right last night. I know that.
We had you got the score right. We had the guy the other night that got the first goal score.
Yeah, Verhaeghe. Jason got that. Yeah,
it was awesome.
Matt said,
and I didn't bet it. So Jason, I'm sorry.
Matt said living in Austin makes summers even worse. I prefer hoodie weather year round. See, here's the crazy thing. And my buddy Mike always bitches at me about this. I'm letting you in on a little secret. Blake, you know this. I'm going to live in Florida one day. It's happening. I'm going to live somewhere in the Upper Keys, and I'm just going to literally stop caring about myself. I am going to balloon. If I'm not $3 within a month, shame on me. I'm not doing a job. Nice. I'm going to drink beer and eat nachos and grill shrimp, and then I'm going to do it again, like over and over and over and over. And my buddy Mike, who does the hockey show with me, he goes, wait a second, you're Mr. Fall, like you're the guy. If you had your way, you'd have hoodie weather, as Matt called it. But here's my dilemma: do I stay here from December 26th until, mid-April, meaning that I have to go through the wretched and useless months of January and February, because they're useless, okay? Or do I go in my little shanty in the Upper Keys and drink beer and eat nachos and grill shrimp, and then drink some more beer and eat nachos and grill some more shrimp?
But
So if my
Sean,
choices are that gray and the sludge that's seemingly everywhere and 10 degrees, or that nice breeze coming off the Gulf Coast and 85 degrees, gosh damn it, give me a pair of flip-flops and I'm there.
it doesn't matter because with the new college football playoff schedule, you ain't going outside, buddy.
Yeah.
You ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's football on now.
And Kirk said, I thought you were going to the UP. But that's, see, my UP haven is like May 1st until, say, how about mid-October?
Where's your go-to spot up north, anyways? We've never
I have a
talked about
couple.
this.
I have a couple. I love the Houghton Hancock area. Love it. Going up like anywhere from Houghton, Hancock, and about 15 miles up Calumet. I think that area is just absolutely beautiful. Like the Keweenaw Peninsula and all that. Like when you get like to that edge of Lake Superior. Marquette's fantastic. There's a little town maybe about an hour away, Munising, that is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. Just beautiful. Just a beautiful little bay and all that. So, yeah, I absolutely love it up there. Let me get a couple. Shauner wants a fresco while golfing. Yeah. Matt said, talk to your finance friends and get a Keys house for winter and a Michigan house for the summer and fall. That's like, honestly, all jokes, Matt, that's our plan. Like we're going to be those people. We really are. I can't imagine not being here in the fall, all jokes aside. I can't imagine. There's no better place, more beautiful place than the state of Michigan in September, October, and into November. Nothing. And I've been all over the place, but the cider mills, the college football, everything. I can't imagine not being here. But December 26th to about April 15th, I don't mind being in the Upper Keys. I don't want anything to do with like Key West, but the Upper Keys where it's a little slower, a little more quiet, that's kind of my place.
Sean, and as long as you have good internet connection, we can do off the air from anywhere.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
sounds
beauty
good.
of this.
Shauner loves the Casa Calabria. Boy, Jason, nice little Italian restaurant. Yeah, it's a nice place. I'm very familiar with that. Brett, my nephew went to NMU. Marquette is like paradise. It's awesome. You'd be surprised at Marquette. I think I was just talking our buddy Doug Garrow. I was on the phone with him today, and I think people think the UP, like boonies and stuff like that. Marquette's like, it's like a regular town. It is.
Isn't Alpena like that too?
You'd be surprised. Yeah. Yeah, you'd be surprised. I mean, it's older, and the same thing with like Houghton. I mean, it's got modern amenities. It's older, but it's a regular town. You got everything you need up there. They're just, those places are few and far between. I mean, that stretch between like Marquette and Houghton, there's nothing. And trust me, I've been up there during snowstorms and rainstorms, and there aren't even like street lights. It's like, dude, you are just putting your life in your own hand. Blake, you can get a house in LA to be closer to Mitch. That'd be nice. I think Mitch would like that, wouldn't he? His buddy Blake?
He's in California right now.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing in California right now?
Mitch album stuff.
Mitch album stuff. Mitch album doing Mitch album stuff.
When people ask me, like, what's Mitch doing? Mitch album stuff.
All right.
Probably writing a book or something.
Before we get out of here, let's tell you about Lindsay Broadwell. When it comes,
I have a story to tell you too. Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. You got a story to tell me. When it's time to sell your house, buy a house, both, you need to contact the right agent. Who's the right agent? Hold on. Right there. There she is, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the main streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. And when it's time to move, Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, first-time buyer, doesn't matter. She's got your back, so make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She'll help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. All right, Blake, you've been waiting all day. This has been a tease. Share your little story with me.
So I went last Thursday to the barbershop, got a fresh cut, if you can see it there,
Cut.
Yeah.
I
love going to the barbershop.
I fade.
I did. Yeah. I went bald fade, which I've never done before. I really like it though. And the barbershop I go to, no free ads, but it's Rocco's Barbershop in Chesterfield. Love the guys there.
No, you can get a shout out. I don't care.
Yeah, but no free ads. But there was a free ad for him.
Whatever.
So they'll play like during the day, they'll play like movies and stuff on the TVs that they have in there. And Remember the Titans was on. Movie, which is a movie I have seen.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, and there was this kid, probably like, I would guess like 13 to 15 range, sitting next to me. And he's like playing a game on his phone, whatever. And I like nudged him, and I was like, I'm like, you're gonna miss the best part of the movie. He looks up, he's like, what movie is this? And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is Remember the Titans. Okay. No, but this is not the end. And he was like, oh, I think I've seen it once. And I was like, now I know how Sean feels.
Yeah.
But this kid, and this is everyone's always complaining about the youth of America and how they don't know anything and how they're not paying attention to anything, whatever. So I ended up starting to talk football with this kid for like 20 minutes while we're both like waiting for our haircuts. And this kid was like, he had all the facts, all the opinions. He's like, we're talking about like Justin Fields. He's like, I think he got a bad rap like in Chicago. Like, I think he actually could be good in Pittsburgh. Like, he was just spitting out all this knowledge, and I would never expected it out of this kid. Like, super long hair, like dorky looking kid. And he knew ball. And I was like,
listen, we nerds when we were kids, dude, I was that kid. Tell me what year, name a year. I'll tell you who won the Stanley Cup. I'll tell you who won the Conn Smythe. Name a Super Bowl. I could just rattle them off. I mean, that was just, I'm not joking. Like, Blake, when I was a kid, like I didn't have any hobbies. Like, I didn't. Like, my mom and dad were like, what the bleep is wrong with this kid? Because it was just, I just wanted sports. Like, seriously,
I was thrilled. I was like, this kid knows ball. I was ready to invite him on the pod. Just have him on for a segment. We can talk ball with the 15-year-old.
Then I'd yell at him and hang up on him. Get out of here, kid. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I was proud.
One movie Blake knows. Wow, Blake has seen a movie. I'm proud of him. Eric said kids have no clue. Remember the Titans. Hell yeah.
It was the scene where Coach Yost is like, we will not let them gain another yard. We blitz all night. That's the best part of the whole movie. I love it.
Matt said, watch SportsCenter every morning as a kid when it was actually funny and not a talk show. My gosh, that's even going back to my age. And it really in particular reminds me of my son. I was very fortunate at the day part that I was working when I was at the Fan that I could take my son to school every morning, which was awesome. It was a 5-minute drive, but I mean, that 5 minutes was just so awesome. But that was his routine, man. 6:30 in the morning, I'd see him in front of the TV with a bowl of cereal, just watching SportsCenter. It was that was so stinking cool. All right, so tomorrow we've got the Michigan High School Coaches Association chat. Carter Corpy, who has continued his career on from Catholic Central, playing D1 hockey, and the head coach of Catholic Central, an old buddy of mine, and a former Michigan player. That's for you, Blake. Brandon Kalinicki will be joining Mike and I tomorrow to talk about
leaders
all the
and
good things
best
going on in MHSA hockey and how many kids are moving on to places like Michigan and Union and Merrimack and, of course, Michigan State. So we got to get out of here. Blake, always a pleasure. Anything before we go, Blake?
No, I was gonna say with the high school hockey show,
Mm-hmm.
I will give you the flowers because you won't give them to yourself. I think what you're doing with that is awesome. Like really shining a light on a sport in this area that is super undercovered.
Thank you.
And I think it's really cool. Like just as someone that's not like super deep into high school hockey, watching it and like seeing these kids and have them talk about their experiences and everything, I think it's been awesome. So
We had
I
over.
really do enjoy it.
Thank you, and I'm sure you know this. We had over 7,000 views from the show last week. That's insane.
It's awesome.
Don't tell me there isn't a market out there. Just don't tell me.
Keep spreading the word.
Yeah, I saw Rick Comley's taken over on an interim basis. NMU, their hockey coach, stepped down. He's moving on. The entire staff did. So I already contacted both Garrow and Beaufait, and I said, you guys go take that gig, and we'll call it a day. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. See you.
Off the Air with Sean Baligian, featuring Sean Baligian and Blake Majchrzak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Majchrzak. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Baligian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.